What did I think of the defense today?
Yeah.
Obviously, the defense had a stellar performance. Like I said last week, I get to follow this up, and thankfully it's on a positive note. I said we're going to go back, we're going to look at everything we did, come back and correct those mistakes, and gosh darn it, I think we did. There's a lot of things riding on this game, which gave us extra motivation. The fact that this is a Big Ten game, the fact that there's such a storied program. Everyone knows about Coach Frost's comments. That how they out-hit us last time, even though they lost by like 50 points. So we were motivated. We were, there's plenty of fuel for us, and so I had fun alongside my teammates, just getting after them.
So you think you out-hit him today?
Yeah, I think we out-hit him today.
Just making sure.
I'm interested to see if maybe he has a different opinion on it, but I feel like
he didn't.
We out-hit him.
He didn't. He basically said what you said, but I'm wondering what form that motivation takes. Is that something you guys are talking about all week? Like, when he said that?
It's a verbal. Well, I mean, what do you mean?
Like, you said it's extra motivation.
Yeah.
In what way does that show itself? Is that like you guys are talking about it before the game?
Before the game, but it's been all week. We've every team kind of finds something to cling to, like locker room banter almost, and for us it was that for this week, I'd say. But I mean, it goes back historically. Look back to the '97 year where we had the national championship, and all the drama that went down there. So there's been a lot of motivation for us. But at the end of the day, we got to do things for ourselves. We can't, we got to look inwards and see what we can do and pull that out of us. We can't just always rely on external stuff because some teams are better at just playing the game than others.
Coach Harbaugh said he didn't remember that comment. Do you believe him?
The out-hit us comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely remembered. I just remember it was just like, it's so funny to me. I don't know. And it was personal for me because one of my best friends is Wyatt Miller, who plays left tackle for UCF, right tackle, excuse me. But so he, there was like that connection.
Yeah.
He's like, we out-hit you. Like, I was like, what? Like, so it was just funny to me.
Yeah.
Did Coach Harbaugh mention all that?
Coach Harbaugh, he didn't mention it. No. Yeah, for him, I think he was just, like I said, just focused on the game. But for the defense, I think it was more personal for us, like out, hitting people, their line. That was part of the quote. But,
what did you see from your line, offensive line?
Obviously I didn't watch. I'm not studying the offensive line, but I'd say in my 5 years here, that's probably the best I've ever seen. Maybe, this is a bold statement. I don't mean it to come off as like some controversial statement, but it's probably the best I've ever seen Michigan look, just from a total standpoint, offense, defense, special teams, and it was just a great feeling.
You had an interesting dance after you got a sack. You pulled something out of your. Can you explain that?
So after the sack, I figured, if I was going to take their heart from their offense, I figured it was about time that I took my own heart and ate that too. So I just that's kind of where I was at with that one. Some people thought I was throwing or eating a grenade, that was not the case. I was taking my own heart and eating it.
Took them 56 minutes of game clock to finally score a touchdown.
Yeah.
They didn't get over 100 yards until that last drive. Were you guys expecting to be that dominant against them, or were you expecting a closer game?
I was expecting a closer game. You always expect a closer game. You never go, especially with how many variables we've had in years past, where it's just it's been a defensive group. Games have typically been pretty close, even ones that shouldn't have been. And so you go in thinking that you hold everybody to a higher standard because we have to respect our opponents and have to respect what they're capable of. Especially since we had rumors that Martinez was going to be playing this week, and we know how explosive of a threat he can be. So we definitely didn't expect it to be like that. But once we got out there, things went pretty swimmingly, I'd say.
Last week you said that the attitude in the locker room post-game wasn't quite as optimistic as it had been after Western Michigan. Was today, after the game, was it more like it was after Western Michigan, where you said?
Yeah, I'd say it's more like it was, after Western Michigan. And it'll be interesting how we respond this week. But like I said, the coaches do a great job of, we'll get back in there, and it'll be like this game was, one touchdown win for the defense. just the way we
Yeah,
operate.
because last week you said that after Western Michigan, you felt like the team top to bottom, every facet of the game played well, and that was kind of the attitude post game. Was that the attitude today that every facet of the team played well?
Yeah, I was doing an interview on the field, so I kind of missed Coach Harbaugh's message. But you know, just like talking to people, yeah, it seemed like it was that way from you know, especially the way the locker room set up. You're kind of huddled into like, you know, your position groups, and it seemed like, you know, everybody got after him from, you know, the ones to the threes. It was great seeing some of my, you know, it was a special day for me. One of my best friends, Matt Mitchell, he got in the game today for the first time, fifth-year senior. So it's a special day for me.
Chase, does this team, with the way it prepares every day, practice every day, does it remind you of like 2 years ago in terms of maturity and in terms of just going to work?
Yeah, it definitely. This is like the most 2016 vibe. I'd say we had like just going to work, and maturity-wise, that it just everybody's accountable for their position. We got ballers on, you know, every level, and it's a great feeling.
How cool is that to see, given how last year these guys were so young, they didn't know how to do that, and now maybe you're seeing a little more of that?
Yeah, like I said, I definitely say we've made those steps, and I talked about before how that was something we had to do, and I just think sometimes like you could try to force it and you take a lot of reps in practice, but until you go through a season and you've seen those, you know, you've gone through those growth spurts, and there's just success, man. It's just a cyclical nature, and we've learned from a lot of our mistakes, and you know, we're not stopping here. I think the sky's the limit. You've seen how well our defense performed today, and we're hungrier than ever. So.
How much of a boost does it give you guys when you see the offense putting the ball in that zone?
It's definitely a huge boost. It's like, it's just a great feeling overall. I'd say is the biggest thing. Yeah, I mean, you never want to rely on, you know, somebody else as as a defense. I'm sure like the offense feels the same way. When we get a 3 and out, they're rejuvenated by that. They're fueled by that. But yeah, we just go out there and do our thing. And the offense scores. It's a great feeling. But at the end of the day, it's not the end all be all.
Chase, sorry.